If that night he had just reached on time, maybe today he would have been alive. But not normal. Because the path he took to return home was guarded not by humans, but by half-burnt spirits. Friends, people living in the mountains always say one thing: the night path is never short, and if a fair is set up along the way, know this: it's not just humans who come there. This story is from the year 2018, from a small village in Himachal called Ganot, which was situated on a mountain slope, and to reach there, the last 3 kilometers had to be walked on foot. The boy in this story, whose name we will change to Rohit, was studying engineering in Chandigarh. Rohit was a very straightforward boy, but he had one habit: he took everything as a joke. Ghosts, spirits, souls, he never believed in any of them. His mother often said, if the mountain path is empty at night, come home quickly, never stop, and don't look back. Rohit would always laugh. He thought these were just stories made up by the villagers. It was March. The semester had ended in college, and Rohit thought, this time I'll go home without telling anyone. I'll surprise everyone. He didn't call anyone. At 7 p.m., he boarded a bus from Chandigarh and reached the district town by night. From there was no direct bus to his village. He first had to go to Nurpur, then take a local bus, and then walk the final stretch. Rohit thought, oh, it's just 3 kilometers. I'm from the hills. I can walk it. But that night, those 3 kilometers were about to become the longest path of his life. Around 11 p.m., Rohit's bus broke down. At first, he thought 10 to 15 minutes, but by the time the bus was fixed, an hour had passed. Then, on the way, the bus broke down again. By then, it was 1 a.m. When he finally reached Nurpur, the bus stand was deserted. No shops, no vehicles, no people. Only the distant barking of dogs. Rohit took out his phone. Battery. 18%, he thought. Should I call home? But then he said to himself, why wake everyone now? Let's just start walking. Here, he made his first mistake. From the bus stand to his village was about 3 kilometers. The first half was a straight road, then an old field, where a fair was held every year, and then the forest path, which led to the village. Rohit slung his bag over his shoulder and started walking. The night was completely dark. No moon in the sky, only a faint yellow light here and there along the roadside. While walking, he called his girlfriend. Still awake? She haven't reached yet? Rohit laughed and said, just on my way. You keep talking, I'm walking. He had no idea that soon he wouldn't even be able to speak. After about 15 minutes of walking, he reached the field where the fair was held every year. He remembered, oh, the fair was supposed to start tomorrow. But the field was empty. No swings, no stalls, no lights, only dry grass and the sound of the wind. Rohit said on the phone, dude, this feels weird. The fair was supposed to be here today. A voice came from the other side. They must clear it at night. Rohit agreed. But then he heard a crackling sound above him, like dry wood burning. He looked up. Nothing. Then the sound came again, this time directly above his head. He froze. On the phone, he said, 1 minute? I hear something. But the trees weren't moving, and then something fell on his shoulder. He touched it. Ash. Pure ash, like dust from something burnt. His heart thumped for the first time. He said, dude, ash is falling here. A laugh came from the other side. Are you scared? Rohit said, no, but it's strange. He didn't know this was only the beginning. He crossed the field and moved forward. Now the path was a little deserted. Old trees lined the road, and in between, so dark that he could see nothing. While walking, suddenly he felt someone following him. At first, he ignored it. Then the sound came again. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Like someone walking with a stick. Rohit stopped. The sound stopped. He walked again. The sound resumed. Now his heart started racing. He whispered on the phone, listen, I think someone's behind me. A voice replied, don't look back, just keep walking. Rohit wanted to laugh, but this time, no laughter came. He quickened his pace. The sound quickened too. Now it was clear. An old man was walking behind him with a stick, but he didn't look back. And then he felt someone grab his leg. His step stopped. His phone almost fell from his hand. Shivering, he said, someone is behind me, holding my leg. The girl on the other side screamed, say God's name. Rohit tried to speak, but no sound came out. His throat was dry. And at that very moment, someone's hand rested on his shoulder. Slowly, very slowly, like a burnt hand touching the skin. Rohit froze. He turned his neck, And what he saw at that very moment, his breath stopped. As soon as Rohit turned his neck, his eyes froze in place. The hand resting on his shoulder was human, but the kind of human that could not be alive. The hand was completely black, as if someone had burned it in fire, skin torn in places, and ashes falling from the fingers. Rohit's whole body went numb. He tried to move, but his legs felt like they were sinking into the ground. The phone was still in his hand, and a voice came from the other side. "Rohit, what happened? Why aren't you saying anything?" But Rohit couldn't speak. Behind him, someone was standing, very close. So close that their breath was touching Rohit's neck, and that breath was not cold. It was hot, like standing near burning wood. Suddenly, his mother's words echoed in Rohit's mind. "At night, if someone comes behind you, don't look back." But he had seen it, and now that thing was not going to let him go. He slowly tried to take a step forward. His leg felt heavy, as if someone was holding him back from behind. The girl on the phone was crying. "Rohit, say God's name, say something." Rohit opened his lips, but no sound came out. Then, right next to his ear, he heard a groaning sound, like an old man writhing in pain after being burned. "Ah!" Tears rolled down Rohit's eyes. Now he understood. This was not a human. Somehow, he kept moving forward. With every step, he felt someone was grabbing his leg and pulling him back. He looked down. On the road, ashes were scattered, as if something had been burned here. And then the same sound again from above. Crack, crack, crack. This time he didn't look up. But ashes fell again, this time directly on his head, on his hair, on his clothes, on his face. Now he started panicking. He began walking faster. The sound behind him grew louder. Tuck, tuck, the sound of a stick. Now it was clear. An old man was walking right behind him, tapping a stick. But there wasn't just one set of footsteps. There were two, as if someone was limping. Rohit looked at his phone, battery 6%. He quickly said, "If the phone dies, I'll call home when I reach." A voice came from the other side. "Don't hang up, I'm scared." But at that moment, the phone screen blinked. Battery 2%. Rohit's hands started shaking. He thought, if the phone dies, he would be alone. And then, the phone died. Complete darkness, complete silence. Now only his breath and the sound behind him. About 50 steps ahead, a streetlight was glowing. Dim, yellow, flickering. Rohit mustered all his strength and started moving toward it. As soon as he reached under the light, suddenly, the grip on his leg released. The sound behind him stopped. The wind stopped. Everything was silent. So silent that he thought maybe it was all over. He mustered courage to look back, but then the streetlight flickered. And he felt someone was standing outside the light, in the black darkness, tall, crooked, and hunched. Rohit immediately looked away. He understood. It couldn't come into the light. Now he had reached the main road. From here, the village was only 1 kilometer away. Rohit took a deep breath. He felt the danger was over. He started walking slowly. Then suddenly a sound came from the sky. Flap, flap, flap. A flock of black birds flew over him, so many that they covered the sky. Rohit stopped. He looked up, and then he saw, behind the birds, a black mist was moving, like smoke. But the wind wasn't blowing. The mist was moving straight toward him. His fear returned again. He quickened his pace. Ahead, the road split into two. To the left, the path to the village. And at that turn, an old banyan tree stood. The villagers said, "Don't stop near that tree at night." Rohit remembered this, but there was no question of going back now. He walked fast. As soon as he reached the tree, suddenly, something moved behind it. At first, he thought it might be an animal, but then a faint glow of fire appeared, as if something was burning. Rohit stopped. His heart was pounding so fast he could hear it himself. And then, someone came out from behind the tree. It was a human, but the entire body was burned. Clothes half burned, skin blackened, and smoke rising from the body. Rohit's throat went dry. He couldn't move. The thing slowly started moving toward him. With every step, ashes fell, and its sound like groaning. Ah! Rohit's legs began shaking. He had to walk that path. He had to pass right by it. He closed his eyes and moved forward slowly. As he passed by it, he felt the thing was walking with him. And then he heard a voice in his ear, "Why did you pass over me?" Rohit's heart stopped. He opened his eyes and saw the burned man was now walking right beside him. As soon as Rohit saw that the burned man was walking right beside him, the strength in his legs gave out. He wanted to stop, but he couldn't. It felt as if someone was pushing him forward. The same voice came into his ear again. "Why, did you pass over me?" The voice was soft, but so close, as if someone was speaking from inside him. Terrified, Rohit slowly glanced to the side. The man was now clearer. Face completely burned, black hollows instead of eyes, lips half melted. And the scariest thing, not fire, but smoke was coming from his body, as if he had just been extinguished. Rohit's mind had stopped working. He just had to reach home, just home. The village wasn't far now, but the more he walked, the longer the path seemed. He didn't dare look back, but the sound was still with him. Tuk, 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 the stick hitting the ground, and in between the groaning sound. Why? Rohit tried to say God's name, Nam, but he forgot the words. He couldn't remember anything, as if his mind had gone blank. And then, his foot hit a stone. He fell hard. His bag flew away. His breath stopped. For a few seconds, he lay there on the ground. He felt that thing behind him would catch him now, but the sound was gone. Complete silence. So silent that he felt deaf. Rohit slowly got up. His body was shaking. He went to pick up the bag. As soon as he lifted it, he felt someone standing in front of him. Very close. So close that their breath was colliding with his. He slowly looked up, and his scream escaped. It was the same one, the same burned man. But this time, his body wasn't on fire. Entire body black, charred skin, and the face of a very old man. Eyes sunken, and smoke coming from the mouth. He was staring at Rohit. Then a voice came from his mouth. "Why did you pass over me?" Rohit stepped back. His legs were trembling. He wanted to run, but his body was numb. And then, the burned man took a step forward. Rohit screamed and spun around, and ran with all his strength. Rohit ran with all his strength, but from behind he didn't hear running. Only smoke. He didn't look back, but he felt the black smoke following him. Sometimes rising from the ground, sometimes from the road, sometimes from the trees, as if the entire path was against him. His heart pounded, breath-breaking, but he didn't stop. From a distance, he saw the light of his house. Just 200 meters. Only 200 meters. Near the house, there was a small Shiva temple. Villagers lit lamps there at night. Rohit ran straight toward the temple. He felt if he could survive anywhere, it would be here. He entered the temple, threw down his bag, clung to the Shiva lingam. Tears streamed down his face. He shouted loudly, "Save me! Save me! God, save me!" And then, outside the temple, he heard footsteps. Tuck, tuck, tuck. They stopped. As if someone was standing at the door. Rohit didn't dare look back. He just sat with his eyes closed. After a while, everything was quiet. So quiet that he started feeling sleepy. His head drooped, and he fainted right there. When Rohit opened his eyes, the sun had risen. There was light inside the temple. The priest was sweeping outside. For a few seconds, Rohit couldn't even understand where he was. Then suddenly he remembered the night. His body started shaking. He immediately got up and ran toward the house. Outside the house, he started banging on the door. "Mom, open the door!" No sound came from his throat. His voice was gone. The family came outside and stopped seeing him. His face was completely white, eyes red, lips dry, and his whole body trembling. His mother asked, "What happened?" Rohit wanted to speak, but no sound came out. He just sat on the ground and started crying. That day, no one at home understood. That the real fear had only just begun. It was morning, but inside Rohit's house an eerie fear had already spread. He was sitting near the door, breathing rapidly, and his eyes wouldn't stay focused on one place. His mother kept asking, "What happened? Who hit you? Where did you fall?" But Rohit couldn't speak. His lips moved, but no sound came out. His father thought maybe staying awake all night had worsened his condition. He said, "Let's take him to the hospital." Suddenly, Rohit grabbed his hand. Tightly. So tightly that his father flinched. Rohit's eyes widened. And for the first time he made a sound. No. But that voice was not Rohit's. Heavy, gravelly, like an old man's. Silence fell over the house. Rohit was laid down in the room. He quietly stared at the ceiling. For a while, everything seemed fine. Then suddenly, he started laughing. Slowly, then louder, then loudly. His mother got scared. "Rohit, what's happening?" He kept laughing. And while laughing, suddenly began crying. Then crying, he shouted in anger, "Why did you pass over me?" Hearing this, his mother dropped the glass of water from her hand. She remembered the night. Years ago in the village, a man had been burned, and people said his spirit still wandered in the fairground. The mother immediately said to the father, "Don't take him to the hospital. Call the priest first." The father got angry. "Don't talk nonsense." But at that moment, a loud sound came from inside the room. Bang! Everyone ran in. Rohit was not on the bed. He was sitting on the floor, scratching the floor with his nails, as if searching for something. A voice came from his lips. Burning. Burning. Water. The smell of burning filled the room, exactly the same as on the road at night. Now even the father got scared. He immediately called the village priest. About half an hour later, the old priest arrived. As soon as he stepped inside, he stopped, closed his eyes, and said softly, "Do not let it come out." Everyone panicked. The mother started crying. "What happened, priest?" he said. "It is not alone." Inside the room, Rohit started laughing loudly. The priest stood by the door and said, "Who is it? Why have you come?" A voice came from inside. "This passed over me." That voice was not Rohit's. This time everyone heard clearly. Two voices at once. One Rohit's, one of an old man. The family's hair stood on end. The priest went inside, closed the door from within. Everyone stood outside. Voices came from inside. Sometimes Rohit screamed, sometimes someone groaned, sometimes things fell, sometimes chants. For about 15 minutes, no one came out. Then the door opened. The priest came out. His face was drenched in sweat. He said, "From today, he must be kept near the temple." The father asked, "What happened to him?" The priest said, "On the path he came, a man had burned there." The family was shocked. The priest continued, "Years ago, during the fair, a fire broke out. An old man got trapped in it. People got scared, night fell, and his body didn't completely burn. Half his body remained there." The mother asked, trembling. "So," the priest said, "his spirit still wanders there, and this passed over him." From inside the room came the voice again. "Why? Did you pass over me?" Shivers ran through everyone. The priest said, "This spirit is not weak. It does not want to let go." The mother started crying. "What must be done?" He said, "For 3 months, rules must be followed. Never leave him alone at night. There will be worship in the temple, and he must never go on that path again." The father fell silent. He realized this was no joke. At that moment, a loud scream came from inside. Everyone ran in. Rohit was pressed against the wall. His eyes were looking upward, and from his mouth came the voice, "I will not go." Then suddenly, he grabbed his own throat as if someone was pressing him. The priest immediately sprinkled holy water, chanted mantras. Rohit shuddered violently and lost consciousness. The same stench filled the room again, of burned wood. The priest said softly, "It has not gone, it is just quiet now." After that day, Rohit's life changed completely. The atmosphere inside the house was no longer the same. Someone was always sitting near him. At night, he was never left alone. And the biggest rule, after sunset, Rohit was not to go outside. The priest had clearly said, for 3 months, keep him near the temple, perform the rituals properly, only then will he be completely freed. But he had also said something else, which sent chills through everyone's body. He said, if these rules are broken, it will take him. A little distance from the house was an old Shiva temple. Every evening, Rohit was taken there. He would sit quietly, sometimes with his eyes closed, sometimes staring at the ground, sometimes suddenly laughing, sometimes suddenly crying. In the first week, everyone thought he was getting better, but from the second week, strange things began. At night, sounds came from his room. Tuk, 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 like someone walking with a stick. Opening the door, there was no one. One night, his mother clearly heard 2 voices, one Rohit's and one of an old man, and both were speaking together. I will not go. That night, no one in the house slept. From the 3rd week, a strange smell started coming in the house, of burned wood, sometimes in the kitchen, sometimes in the courtyard, sometimes in Rohit's room. One day, Rohit was sitting in the temple. Suddenly he opened his eyes and said, "Today he will come." The priest stopped. He asked, "Who?" Rohit smiled. But that smile was not his own. He said, "The one I passed over." Everyone sitting in the temple froze. The 3 months were about to complete. The priest said, "Today is the final ritual. After today, everything will be fine." That night, a big Havan, fire ritual, was arranged in the temple. Villagers also came. Everyone was listening to the chants. Rohit sat in front. At first, everything was fine. Then suddenly, the wind started blowing. Inside the temple, a lamp went out. The Havan fire suddenly blazed intensely. At that moment, Rohit screamed loudly, "Don't burn!" Everyone was startled. His voice sounded like the old man's. The priest intensified the chants. Rohit fell to the ground. His body was trembling. "He was just mine! This passed over me!" Outside the temple, dogs started barking. The wind grew stronger. The door closed by itself. Everyone got scared. The priest shouted, "Don't look back!" But one man, out of fear, turned to look, and he screamed. Everyone looked at him. At the temple door, someone was standing. Black, burned, and smoke was rising. The same old man. Rohit saw it too, and he laughed loudly. "He's here." The priest sprinkled holy water, chanted loudly. The Havan fire flared up, and suddenly Rohit screamed loudly, "Don't go!" His body was pulled backward, as if someone was dragging him. His mother screamed. His father started crying. The priest recited the final mantra and poured holy water on his head. Rohit became completely calm. The entire temple was silent. The wind stopped. The fire returned to normal. Everyone thought it was over. The priest said softly, "He is fine now." Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. That night, Rohit was brought home. Everyone was happy. After 3 months, everything seemed normal. Rohit was quiet, but seemed fine. At night, everyone slept. Around 2 a.m., Rohit sat up. His eyes were open, but he was not looking at anyone. He said softly, "Shall we go?" No one was in the room. But another voice came, "Go." Rohit stood up, opened the door, and went outside. In the morning, when the family checked, the door was open. Rohit was gone. The entire village searched. The forest, the road, the fairground, everywhere, but he was not found. 3 days later, news came. Near the fairground, where years ago a man had burned, there was ash, and beside that ash, Rohit's bag. Only the bag. After that, Rohit was never found. Even today, the people of Gunot village say, "If at night you must pass the fairground, you hear the sound of a stick from behind, and sometimes 2 shadows appear walking together, one of an old man and one of a young boy. And both ask, 'Why did you pass over us?'